All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for braving the snow. We have snow in Bremerton. Yay! Could have waited a few hours, but it's beautiful. So good evening and welcome to Unity of Bremerton's Candles and Carols Christmas Eve program. We're very happy you are all here joining us this evening. Did everyone get a candle on their way in? Everybody got it? All right, great. Please take a moment and remove that special message that's on that candle that is special for you. Put it away in safekeeping so that you have that handy. We're going to use the candles more towards the very end of our program, so just put it aside and get yourself comfortable for our program. Please turn off your phones or put them on vibrate. We will be collecting our offertory before we start the program so that we can just stay in the continuous flow of the program. And we will begin the program with some carols led by our house musicians, Sally McAllister and Jamie McAllister.
Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, Jesus Christ is born. While shepherds kept their watching, or silent flocks by night, behold about the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hill and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when lo upon the earth rang out the angel chorus that hailed the Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hill and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Down in a lonely manger the humble Christ was born, and God sent us salvation that blessed Christmas morn. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hill and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Here we come a-wandering so fair to be seen. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. We are not daily beggars that beg from door to door, but we are neighbors, children whom you have seen before. Love and joy come to you, and to you your wassail too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heavenborn Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness, light and life to all he brings, risen with healing in his wings. Mild he lays his glory by, born that man no more may die, born to raise the sons of earth, born to give them second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
Good evening, everyone. Merry Christmas and thank you for coming. We have a lovely evening planned tonight celebrating the Christmas story from the perspective of the 12 powers, as prepared by Reverend Dr. Thomas Shepard of Unity Village. It is intended to be a sacred, soft, and nurturing service. We hope you will feel all wrapped up in a warm blanket of Christmas love as you leave this evening. Before we get started too far with the weather, we just want to check with everyone and make sure they have a ride home. We do plan to be leaving in a meditative state tonight, so is everyone okay? Everybody okay? Good, thank you. Our narrators tonight are primarily members of our Board of Trustees and chaplain team. Members will come up to introduce their candle, light it, and share a message. After each message, there will be a brief quiet time to meditate. You will hear a Christmas bell when it is time to move to the next candle. After every other meditation, we will have a song. At the end of the evening, we will guide you to light your candle, and then we will sing Silent Night. After all 4 verses, we ask you to quietly file out, starting with the front rows, to leave the sanctuary in silence. Please do your best to remain silent until you get outside, and may you be blessed in advance with a safe journey home. Thank you for coming, and Merry Christmas. And now Nora with the offertory.
Our spiritual center is completely supported by your tithes and love offerings. Your gifts to this ministry are the firm foundation upon which this ministry rests. As we give out of the goodness of our hearts, so shall we receive this goodness, heaped up, shaken together, and overflowing. For those of you following us online, you may make the donation online using our website at www.unitybremerton.org. Those here tonight who wish to make a donation using a credit card may do so in our office. And thank you for your support.
O Christmas tree, how faithful are thy branches. O Christmas tree, how faithful are thy branches. Green not alone in summertime, but in the winter's frost and rime. O Christmas tree, how faithful are thy branches. 'Tis not alone in summer sheen, Its boughs are broad, its leaves are green. It blooms for us when wild winds blow, and earth is white with feathery snow. A voice tells all its boughs among of shepherd's watch and angel's song. O holy babe in manger low, the story of so long ago. O Christmas tree, how faithful are thy branches. O Christmas tree, how faithful are thy branches. Green not alone in summertime, but in winter's frost and rime. O Christmas tree, how faithful are thy branches.
We have a song, Joy to the World.
The Lord has come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. And then their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love.
And our first candle tonight is the red candle. The red candle represents light, which we light for the baby Jesus. His birth is the reason we light candles every holiday season, for Jesus was like a candle in a dark world. Whenever we think of Christmas, all thoughts flow toward his birth. Light from light, Jesus demonstrates the universal divine presence, and through him we see the image of God in everyone. Every cradle is a manger, and every child is the Christ, the Buddha, the Lord, the one presence and the one power, expressed in one solitary life.
This candle represents faith, which we light for Mary, the mother of Jesus. According to the Gospel of Luke, when confronted by the divine commission to give birth to and nurture the Christ child, this ordinary young woman responded with an extraordinary words of trusting faith. My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior, for he has looked with favor on the lowliest of his servants. Surely from now on all generations will call me blessed, for the Mighty One has done great things for me, and holy is his name.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy will someday walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save your sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy gives sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm the sea with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you kissed your little baby, you kissed the face of God. Oh, Mary, did you know? The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb. Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day rule the nation? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect Lamb? The sleeping child you're holding is the great
This candle represents the golden light of understanding, which we light for Joseph, the father of Jesus and husband of Mary. With an understanding heart, Joseph accepted his role in the amazing circumstances we celebrate this season. The Gospels report that after the angel choirs had adjourned to heaven and the wise men returned to their far-off lands, it was Joseph who remained as father and guardian of a child whose life would change the world. In quiet ways, by acts of unsung courage, He demonstrated a keen understanding of the dangers and joys of life and always acted from the highest principles for the highest good.
Above thy deep and dreamless sleep, the silent stars go by. Yet in thy dark streets shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. For Christ was born of Mary and gathered all above. The mortal sleeping angels keep thy watch of wonder and love. O morning stars together proclaim the holy birth, and praises sing to God the King, and peace to men on earth.
Bethlehem, which is the purple candle. This candle represents power, which we light for the little town of Bethlehem. Purple is the ancient color of kings and emperors. Prophets had foretold that the promised one would come from Bethlehem, the place where the powerful King David had been born. Yet the power which Bethlehem represents is far greater than the might of armies. Bethlehem means house of bread in Hebrew, and one day the child born that night would challenge all people to feed the hungry, clothe the needy, and comfort the afflicted. By the words of power which he brought, Jesus taught humankind to affirm the power and the presence of God in all circumstances. The power of that affirmation will heal the sick, lift the poor out of poverty, and transform the world into a commonwealth of peace.
The pink candle represents love, which we light for the shepherds. These were simple folk, not kings in their palaces. Yet the Gospel of Luke says the birth of the Christ child was announced to them as good news of great joy for all the people. They responded with eagerness, and when they knelt before the manger, their hearts were filled with divine love. Then the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen. This is the way of love, open and receptive, simple and straightforward, full of joy and praise.
The prophets and the herald angels, zeal. The orange candle represents zeal, which we light for the prophets and the herald angels. The prophet Isaiah had written, "For a child has been born for us, a son given to us. Authority rests upon his shoulders, and he is named Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." The zeal of the Lord of hosts will do this. Luke reports that angelic voices rang out on that dark night, announcing the holy birth. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace among those whom he favors." Jesus would tell the people that God favors everyone. Isaiah, the prophet, and the herald angels conspired to give us a vision of heaven and earth united by the power of zeal.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains.
This dark green candle represents divine order, which we light in memory of the manger. Jesus has been called King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Yet when it was time for him to be born, his desperate parents converted an animal food trough into a makeshift cradle. As Luke writes, she wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger because there was no place for them in the inn. This simple action shows God working through all circumstances. Looking at the manger in the Christmas creche offers a visual symbol of the balance and harmony flowing through the universe. Even when circumstances appear desperate, we can access that flow of good through exercising our trust in divine order.
This yellow candle represents the flame of wisdom, which we light for the wise men. Many people saw the star, but the Gospel of Matthew says that the wise men came from the east, and they were chosen to act on their vision. The power of wisdom is giving light that gives us the right decision when we choose Christ within, with Christ within. With this candle, we remember the good judgment shown by wise men and wise women throughout the ages who have found the way to their own Christ.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar. Foreign mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright. Westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
Star of Bethlehem, imagination. The light blue candle represents imagination, which we light in memory of the star which led the Magi to Bethlehem. The Gospel of Matthew says wise men followed that star until it came to rest over Bethlehem, where they found the Christ. But this legend is not only meant for long ago people of an ancient world. The star represents the ability to create new ideas and to set them in motion. Ralph Waldo Emerson told people to hitch your wagon to a star. This is the power to see through appearances to the inner, eternal truth of every circumstance. With the eyes of imagination, the Magi found their Christ by following a star, and we can use our power of imagination to join their quest until we discover the Christ within everyone.
Gold means strength for the light green candle. This candle represents strength, which we light in memory of the gift of gold. The first gift the Magi gave the baby Jesus was gold, which represents the kingly nature of Jesus, his prosperity consciousness, and his ability to perform all necessary tasks. It is appropriate that the color of monetary currency today is often light green, like this candle. Whatever is true about Jesus is true about everyone. Spiritual strength is the true gold of existence, the energy of God flowing through us. Gold also symbolizes the gifts of God, which strengthen us during times of difficulty and gives us the ability to share our time, talent, and treasure with others.
Child, is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him on, the babe, the Son of Mary.
Frankincense represents will, which is a silver gray candle. This silver candle represents will, which we light in memory of the gift of frankincense. Because frankincense was an incense of the temple, it represents the divine nature of Jesus, which is the Christ that dwells within everyone. The power of will has been called the executive faculty of the mind. To allow more and more of Christ to express through us takes an act of will. The willingness to name and claim our divine heritage. The will is the center in mind and body around which revolve all the activities that constitute consciousness. It is the avenue through which the I am expresses its potentiality.
This russet brown candle represents renunciation, which we light in memory of the gift of myrrh. This candle points to the human nature of Jesus. In biblical times, myrrh was a perfume used to prepare bodies for burial. It represents the power to let go and let God, to recognize we are in good hands when we trust God. Jesus, who was born in a manger, would die on a cross, yet his teachings have changed billions of lives for the better. If he was able to let go and let God, so can we. As we celebrate the birth of the Christ child this night, we release any thoughts of lack or limitation and turn our lives over to God's guidance, knowing in every circumstance God is within us, we are in God, and all is well.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
We're now coming to that part of the evening where we're going to be lighting our own individual candles. So I'll just ask, does everybody have their candle? Okay. Could one of the ushers bring a candle to Sally? And Jamie? And while that's happening, I'll just remind folks, make sure you have your little drip guard on your candle, and that's there for, of course, preventing drips of hot wax and getting burns. We don't want anybody to be burned. Okay. Yes, remember to remove your little blessing from your candle if you haven't already done so. So in the moment, ushers are going to assist with this, and they'll come to you, and generally speaking, the person on the end of the aisle will get their candle lit from the usher, and then they'll turn and light the person next to them their candle, and so on and so on. So we'll be lighting the candles, and then we will move into singing Silent Night, and we'll sing 4 verses of Silent Night, and then we're going to conclude our evening together. So we want to thank you once again for attending tonight and joining us. And we're going to try to leave in a reverential mood, a quiet mood. So After the 4 verses of Silent Night, we're going to extinguish the light of our flame. Thank you. And quietly leave the service. Thank you.